Miami condo buyers find out their building is in past financial problems after they sign the contract. Hi, I'm Delainy, and today I'm going to walk you through the exact red flag checklist I use with my clients before ever making an offer on a Miami condo, so you don't become the next Surfside headline. So before we get into it, if you're actively looking at condos in Miami right now, my team and I get calls every single week from buyers who found a listing they loved and just want a second opinion before they write an offer. That's literally what I do. I've got a medical background and hands-on construction experience from my own fix and flip properties. So I look at these buildings the way I look at a diagnosis. Symptoms first, root cause second. If you want me to personally run this same checklist on a building you're considering, there's a link in the description below to book a free 15-minute condo review with me. No pressure, no obligation, just an honest second opinion. Okay, let's get right into the checklist. Before Surfside, most buyers, and honestly, most agents, never asked to see a condo's reserve study or engineering report. Nobody thought to. That changed overnight in June of 2021 when the Champlain Towers South collapsed in Surfside, killed 98 people, and it came out afterward that the building's engineers had flagged serious structural issues years before it happened, but the association never funded the repairs. Since then, Florida passed new statewide laws requiring milestone structural inspections and fully funded reserves for older buildings. That's a good thing for buyers. It means there's a paper trail now. But it also means if you don't know what to ask for, you can still walk into the building with real problems and have no idea until you're already the one paying for them. So here are the 5 things I check in order before I ever let a client write an offer. Red flag number 1 is underfunded reserves. Every condo association is supposed to keep a reserve fund, basically a savings account for big ticket repairs down the road. Roofs, plumbing, structural work, painting, paving. Florida law now requires associations to get a structural integrity reserve study done and to actually fund those reserves instead of waiving them, which used to be really common. Here's what I do. I ask for the most recent reserve study and the association's budget, and I look at the 2 things: how much money is actually sitting in the reserves right now, and how much the study says they need. The building has, say, $2 million in projected repairs over the next 10 years and only $200,000 sitting in the reserve account. That gap has to get filled somehow. And it almost always gets filled one of the 2 ways: either a big jump in your monthly HOA dues or a special assessment, which is a lump sum bill mailed straight to every owner. I've seen buyers fall in love with a unit because the HOA dues looked so low, only to find out that the dues were low because the building wasn't saving enough. Red flag number 2 is the building's milestone inspection status. Under the new Florida law, condo buildings that are 3 stories or taller have to go through a structural milestone inspection once they hit 30 years old, or 25 years old if they're within 3 miles of the coast, which describes a lot of Miami. That inspection has 2 phases. Phase 1 is a visual inspection. If the engineer finds signs of what's called substantial structural deterioration, the building moves to phase 2, which is more invasive, detailed inspection, and that's usually when you start hearing the word special assessment. So before I let a client write an offer, I ask 2 questions. Has the building had its milestone inspection done yet? And if so, what did it find? If the building is required to have one and it hasn't been done yet, that's not automatically a deal breaker, but it is a flag. It means you're buying before you know what the inspection is going to turn up. If it has been done and there were significant findings, I want to see the engineer's report and understand exactly what repairs are planned and who's paying for them. Think of it like an inspection when buying a house, except instead of one home, you're getting a report on the entire building. Red flag number 3 is financeability. And this one catches people off guard because it has nothing to do with your credit. Lenders, especially the big ones that sell loans to Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, look up the buildings on their condo project management system. And if they don't fulfill the certain criteria, then they won't land on it. A building can end up on that list for a bunch of reasons, either pending litigation against the association, more than a certain percentage of the building being commercial space instead of residential, deferred maintenance, or a high number of units behind on HOA dues. Here's why this matters, even if you're paying cash, because it matters for your resale. If you buy in a building that's currently unfinanceable, you've just shrunk your future buyer pool to cash buyers only. And that can quietly cost you when it's time to sell. So before writing an offer, I check whether the building is currently approved for conventional financing. And if it's not, I want to know exactly why. And whether that's something temporarily, like a lawsuit that's about to settle, or something structural, like an ongoing deferred maintenance that isn't getting fixed. Red flag number 4 is the building's master insurance policy. Every condo building carries a master policy that covers the structure, the roof, common areas, and Florida's insurance market has gotten so brutal over the last few years, especially for older buildings near the water. I asked for proof that the master policy is current and adequately covers the building's replacement cost, not just whatever amount keeps the premium low. Here's the thing nobody tells buyers. You don't see this cost as a separate line item. It shows up quietly, folded into your HOA dues. So if a building insurance premium jumped 40% this year, which is not unusual right now, that increase is either already baked into your dues or it's coming in next year's budget. Either way, I want my clients to know that before they buy, not after the first dues increase notice shows up in the mail. Red flag number 5 is the building's special assessment history. This is the one most buyers forget even to ask about. I pull the condo docs and the estoppel certificate and look specifically for any special assessments in the last 5 years. How many, how large, and what they were for. One assessment for something like a roof replacement isn't necessarily a red flag. Buildings age, things need fixing. But if I see 2 or 3 assessments in 5-year window, that's not bad luck anymore. That's a pattern. It usually means the association has been underfunding reserves for years and is now playing catch up, bill by bill, at your expense as the new owner. And in Florida, depending on the timing, you can actually inherit responsibility for an assessment before you even closed. So this is not something to find out about after the fact. So to recap, before you write an offer on a Miami condo, check these 5 things. Are the reserves actually funded? Has the milestone inspection been done? And what did it find? Is the building currently financeable? Is the master insurance policy current and adequate? And has there been a pattern of special assessments in the last 5 years? Any one of these on its own might have a reasonable explanation, but if you're seeing 2 or 3 of these red flags on the same building, that's your sign to slow down and dig deeper before you fall in love with the view. So before you fall in love with the view and forget to check the building underneath it, run these 5 things. If you want me to personally review the condo docs on a building you're eyeing, click the link below to book a free condo red flag review. It takes 15 minutes and it could save you from a 6-figure mistake. And if you're not condo shopping yourself, but you know someone who is, send them this video. It might be the most useful thing you share with them all year long. If you found this helpful, hit subscribe. I put out videos like this every week on how to actually evaluate a Miami property like an investor, not just a buyer. I'll see you on the next one.